Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to try the Jeju Makgeolli recipe. I've been really wanting to try it. I did a little bit of research and looked up a few recipes, so let's try it together. It is a quick makgeolli recipe from Jeju, an island in Korea. I first saw it on one of my Korean TV shows I was watching. I've been really wanting to try it for months, especially because it's a short and quick, easy recipe. This is Nuruk, basically what brings out the alcohol from the rice. If you don't have a Korean market near you, I will link in the description below where you can purchase it online. I'll be using my hangari, a Korean clay pot, also known as a ongi. I'm going to use it to make the alcohol in. If you don't have one, you can use a glass jar as well. I have my rice here completely cooled down. Make sure it's not hot, warm, completely cool, but not refrigerated. I have water here, and I'm going to add about 80 to 100 grams of sugar. I'm gonna stir that so that it dissolves. If you like your alcohol sweet, you can add more sugar later on at the end, but we're going to add just a little bit in our water. Now we're going to combine our nuruk here and our rice. You want to make sure that the rice is not in clumps, and we want to keep them separate as possible. You want to keep them whole and don't mash it, but just lightly toss it. And you can use some of that water that we mixed with the sugar earlier to kind of break it up a little bit. You see how my rice is whole here? We're going to place it into the jar. I'm going to lightly pack it on the bottom. Makgeolli is a Korean traditional rice drink. It's delicious. They sell it at any Korean markets. You can try it if you've never tasted it before. You want to use a big enough jar where you have enough space on top because you want some of that oxygen and it will bubble up a little bit. We're going to gently pour the rest of that water in. And I'm going to later take a wooden spoon and just scrape down the sides to make sure there's no pieces of rice stuck on the sides and it's all submerged. I'm going to check on this tomorrow and give it a light toss and see how it's doing. Take a light cloth or a cheesecloth and place it over your jar, and I'm going to put the lid on. If you're using a glass jar with a screw-on lid, you don't have to tighten it too hard. And let's check on it tomorrow. So it's the next morning. I decided to make 2 more in the glass jars so you can see what it actually looks like inside. It started to bubble up. I'm gonna go ahead, open it, and give it a nice little stir in each of the jars. I did have a little mini taste test, and it tastes actually pretty good. And what I did notice is that the one in the hangari versus the glass jars did taste a little bit different. I'm not sure why, but the one in the hangari did taste a little bit stronger, and it kind of tasted like there was a little bit of Sprite in there, kind of like a little kick, which was delicious. I'm gonna leave it one more day before we strain it and put it in the fridge. We are at day 2. Let's go ahead and separate and bottle them up. At this point, if you want your alcohol to be sweeter, you can choose to add more sugars or syrups, but I decided to keep it the original flavor. I'm going to be using my milk nut bag on top of my strainer. This is one of my favorite kitchen must-haves. I use it for so many things. It comes in a pack of 2, and I will link it in the description below. I've seen some recipes that cook it on a stove on a low setting, not to boil. It's supposed to bring out some more of that sweetness and not be as strong, but I am going to forego that. I've seen recipes with or without it, so we're going to not cook it because I want it to be as strong as possible. We're just squeezing out all that milky white liquid. I did not add any extra sugar other than the initial sugar we added to the water. I don't like it too sweet. It was very creamy and milky when I tasted it, and it actually had a slight kick, sort of like a soda if you had 7-Up or Sprite in it. I was surprised how well it came out and can't wait to try it cold. I'm using a funnel and going to place it into my jars. I made enough for 2 jars. In this lighting, the alcohol may look a little tan, but it's actually white and milky. The jars I'm using just have a green and blue tint to them. I went ahead and made double since it is Lunar New Year this weekend. You want to keep them refrigerated at this point, and if you want to add any other flavors to them, you can. Mine is just the original with no added flavors. Make sure you serve cold and shake well before pouring. Let's put them in the fridge and enjoy later. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Cheers and see you next time.